Hello and welcome to Engadget's coverage of Gamescom Opening Night Live. This is the replacement event thingy for what would have been Gamescom in Cologne. So thanks for being here with us. I'm Nick Summers, a senior editor, and I'm joined by my colleague Jess. Hey, how's it going?
Hello. We were in Cologne last year at this time, and I really wish we were there again. That's always a good time out there.
Me too, but those shows will return someday. I hope, I pray every day that eventually we'll be able to go back to some of these because, yeah, I miss being there in person for some of these big announcements.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, this is a huge one. Like Gamescom is a massive show. It's, the largest show in the world, the largest gaming show in the world. Just by like the number of people that show up, it's almost like 400,000. And you feel it when you're on the ground there. It feels like 400,000 people. And it just the number of exhibitors and the size of the actual show itself, it's a massive event. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that space in the calendar is now just gone. All of those attendees it's just not happening. But, Gamescom does have a bit of news too. It's never been quite as big as E3 or maybe even Tokyo Game Show, but we always get some news out of it. And that's really what we're looking for tonight, right? We're going to hopefully see some trailers, maybe the odd game announcement. I don't know how many of those we're going to get, but they've said it's going to be 2 hours long, so they're going to have to show something.
Well, I think one thing we know for sure, you're right, we don't know like a ton of details, but we know we're going to see a little bit of Fall Guys season 2, right? Like that's going to be one of the things that we know is coming, and one of the things that I think a lot of people are very excited about right now. Like Fall Guys is the hit of the summer, if we can say that. Yeah, so hey, season 2, what's in store? Like, what else can they throw at us, literally?
I'm interested if they already have new stages, like, ready to go. I mean, we've seen they have some skins and that they've been pushing those, right? They've had some tie-ins with things like Portal and whatnot. But I just wonder, is that stuff already prepped and primed, just to drop at this point? I don't really know how much of that stuff they've been working on prior to the game's release, right? But seasons are a big deal, as we have with Fortnite and Apex. Usually one of those drops, there's a big expectation. So yeah, I'm curious to see what they're going to bring to the party.
I know, because like it feels like, I mean, this game just came out, so for them to already be kind of ramping up like this, I think they just had a lot of stuff in the pipeline ready to go. Like Mediatonic has been building this thing for a while. They've really been focused on this game for a while. They've been getting all the weird physics just right. And I think that's one of the reasons it's really taken off the way it has. And Devolver, of course, knows how to sell an indie game. So here we are. Yeah.
I wonder if they were always slated to be at this show, or after it all exploded, Jeff Keighley was immediately on the phone like, whatever you've got coming up next, I want to have the next trailer at my show. Can you be there, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. No, I love seeing those kinds of stories. But like, we're also going to have some pretty like big names there, like, Activision and Bethesda and 2K. And we're going to see a lot of like big games as well, huge games.
Yeah, there's definitely a few publishers I can think of that would normally piggyback on Microsoft or Sony's E3 show. And this year they haven't, for whatever reason. Something like Call of Duty, right? They delayed on really showing off their next title. And I know we've just had the kind of name reveal and that kind of first tease of it now, but I'm wondering if this is the kind of show which they'll come to and say, okay, this can be our time, right? This is where we can do a blowout.
Totally. And, I participated in that media preview, so you can read all about it on Engadget.com right now if you'd like.
Nice.
The headline is just about the release date, but the story is about the content of this game. So this is Black Ops Cold War. It takes place partly in Vietnam and partly in the 80s. The bulk of it's in the 80s, but there are some scenes in Vietnam, which is, a bold move and potentially problematic one, and I go into that a little bit in my story. Vietnam is a very dark period in American history.
Absolutely.
So Activision recognizes that, and they're trying to obviously be authentic with Call of Duty. They're always trying to be as authentic as possible. But hey, it looks beautiful. Like all these next gen games that we're seeing are really coming out looking really fresh and really crisp. I love seeing that.
I was just saying before we went live, it's crazy to think that we're only 3 months away, maybe even less. I mean, from next gen. Xbox Series X is confirmed for November at some point, and that really isn't far away. So although we have had a show each, or maybe even multiple shows, both from Microsoft and Sony, it's close. If anyone wants to announce something or sell you on a game that is supposed to be a launch title, it's like, it's now is the time to persuade people.
Definitely. And then we just saw yesterday, like Sony threw up they didn't throw up, they threw live a like pre-order sign-up sheet for the PS5. So like they're really starting to tease it out a little more. People were like, maybe the PS5 is going to be delayed, but now Sony's like, no, we got this. And they're laying the breadcrumbs for the excitement.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a question at you, because we've heard for the longest time about this other Xbox, the Xbox Series S, and I know at Gamescom in years gone by, they've always had a sort of Xbox FIFA bundle that's announced or something like this. You know, it's a classic thing for a European show. But do you think today is the day where maybe we could get that system revealed, or do you think Microsoft would always want to do that in its own thing at a different time?
I wonder. I mean, all bets are off this year, right? Microsoft has had a few live streams, like Sony's had a few live streams. They're all kind of trickling information in a little different ways. So I think it would be actually pretty cool for them to do something like that. That's like actually separate from a Microsoft focused show, and really just have a strong presence at this show. I think it would be a smart move, but I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it's not going to happen, because Microsoft and Sony are very greedy right now, and they're getting all their attention they can just for themselves.
I'm almost like persuading myself on the idea, just because, you know, if you say, oh, we've got a show coming up, like a dedicated live stream, and it's going to be a big deal, then the expectations ramp up, right? Whereas this is supposed to be a secondary system. So if you show it off as part of something like this, that I think that maybe matches the kind of hype and expectation levels of the show. Like, I don't know, I can kind of see it happening, but who knows? I really have no idea what this particular presentation is going to be like.
Right. And I think, let's see, there's also, Bethesda's going to be here. I was looking at our list of games we might see today. Maybe some Doom Eternal stuff.
Yeah, that game, I mean, it's been big, right? I think it's delivered on everything that id Software wanted it to be, and people have been really happy with it. So if they're ready to show off DLC, man, I mean, I'm ready, and I think everyone else who loves that game is ready for it too.
Yeah. No, did you play much of it?
I haven't. I mean, it's been on my kind of bucket list of things to get to, but as soon as I saw that grapple hook, and I've been watching streams of it and that sort of thing, I was just like, yeah, this is so my bag.
It feels so smooth. It does feel like a parkour game, like you're really just jumping, diving through, but like you have all the massive guns, you have all the ridiculous like just exploding monsters, and all the blood and all the hellish landscapes that I just love walking around that world, and like living in the Doom world, which is ridiculous. But
yeah, this is a good time for them to show off stuff too. I mean, if Bethesda's not quite ready to show off, for instance, I don't know if you saw, but Deathloop was pushed back to next year, for instance. Like, I'm not sure quite how many projects they would have ready, you know, in order to do their own sort of big blowout presentation right now. So maybe this is a really good time for them to just drop in one or two. If you've got something for Doom Eternal, maybe you've got a new season of Fallout content to have, you know, then Fallout 76, then maybe this is the time where you show off those things, right? And again, you just don't have to try and build up your own show and have enough announcements to fill that out. You can just kind of like just scatter them in something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool.
Well, and I wonder, like, aside from the big games, like, are we going to see anything from Nintendo, do you think?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Typically, I would say no. I would say that Nintendo wouldn't show up to an event like this, right? But I think this year is a little different. You know, it's not a traditional year, and also Nintendo has shown off things before at the Game Awards, which is another Jeff Keighley joint, right? So if Jeff Keighley has really ran this show from top to bottom, and he's been involved in a lot of the announcements and decisions and that sort of thing, then I think there's a chance, more so than usual, that Nintendo would show something at this event. What exactly they might show, I have no idea. If my heart of hearts, I think it's too early for us to see something from Breath of the Wild 2. I think it's too early to see something from Metroid Prime 4. But having said that, a lot of their fans are wondering right now, okay, I've maybe really enjoyed Animal Crossing. I'm still working my way through Origami King, but, you know, what have I got for the rest of the year, right? I think there's the second piece of Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC that's coming, but otherwise there's this huge question mark to say, what else are we going to get from Nintendo really for this year? I think they have a couple of third-party titles that are confirmed for this year. No More Heroes 3, I think, is one of them. But otherwise, yeah, what is the Switch look like for the rest of 2020? And maybe what can we expect in the spring of next year? Maybe now is a time to show that kind of stuff. Or maybe you wait and like I said, similar to last year, they pepper one or two trailers into the Game Awards. It's difficult to say what Nintendo is thinking at any one time, but I haven't seen anything, and to be fair, I haven't checked super recently, but I haven't seen anything from them saying you should be paying attention to this show. Like, this is going to be a big one for us. And I think they would if that was the case.
I wonder, at Gamescom, one of the things that I always like to do, I'm trying to think if I'm mixing it up with E3, but there's always some type of Nintendo presence. There's always some type of we get little bits of all these big companies at these shows. And I always love just going into the Nintendo space in any of these shows. It's always cheery and bright and happy. But they also bring a lot of indies to a lot of their conventions, and they really show off what they're doing with the Switch and how these smaller developers are taking advantage of this system. And I really love seeing those experiences. Like, every game I pick up, I feel like I want to say, oh, this would play really well on the Switch. Like, I can't wait for Disco Elysium. That's the one I'm waiting for right now. I really want to play that sitting on the couch, hold up, instead of on my computer. But I mean, I would love to see something like that, but hey, Nintendo has its own rules. They play by their own rules totally. So I'd be more I'm expecting things out of like EA, Activision, 2K, these classic studios that we know and love.
Yeah, I'll say one of my Gamescom stories is, I forget if it was last year or the year before, but the first time I played Panzer Dragoon Remake, which for anyone that knows me, I grew up with the Sega Saturn, and Panzer Dragoon is a game that's very near and dear to my heart. I'm not even sure if you'd call that an indie at this point, but it doesn't really have much affiliation to Sega. But I played that game. It was running on, I think, 2 Switch consoles in their entire Gamescom booth. And I strolled up to it and was like, this is going to be one of my game of the shows, because this is just, it's my thing, And yeah, that was one of my Gamescom takeaways. And I'm not sure if they would have done that if it was at other shows. It just so happened that it was the right time for it to be there. Nobody was queuing for it. I walked straight up and played it like immediately. It was so funny. But yeah, it's a delightful takeaway from Gamescom. And to your point, like, yeah, I want to see more stuff like that on the Switch. I'm always down for more stuff like that on the Switch.
For sure. And I was thinking, like, just kind of rolling through the indies and stuff that I'm interested in, because that's kind of what I get excited about, especially at these shows.
Yeah,
like Devolver's going to be showing off Fall Guys, but they have a lot of stuff on their roster. And I published a story this year about like indie history and how Epic Games kind of got to where it is. And I talked about Devolver, and Mike Wilson, one of the co-founders, he told me that like the Hotline Miami dudes, they're working on a new project, and they're like heads down on a new project. So like every convention that rolls around now, I'm like, is this going to be? But hey, that game could stand on its own, and that team can definitely control a presentation of their own if they wanted to. So maybe not part of something like this.
I've got to say, over the years, the sort of the influence and my sort of perception of labels like Devolver and Annapurna Interactive has only gone up over the years as I've played more and more of their stuff, and I trust their taste and the sorts of projects they pick up more and more. Now, when I hear that Devolver's going to have a virtual E3 press conference, I'm there. Whereas before, maybe it was optional. Maybe it's if I catch it, then that's great. But now it's almost like it's unmissable for me, right? Because I've played so much stuff from both of those publishers that I've really enjoyed and have really, really stuck with me. So if they have obviously Fall Guys is going to be here, but if they have anything else to show, then like, yeah, I'm down for that too.
Bring it.
Yeah, going from
I
the kind of
wonder.
the indie scale back up to the kind of blockbuster scale a little bit. You and I watched the PS5 big blowout reveal event thing, and one of the games that was there was Ratchet and Clank. That has been confirmed to be here tonight. I don't know how much you remember of the kind of world jumping, and sort of
Oh
the
yeah.
portals and all that kind of stuff. Do you want to see? Are you hyped to see a little bit more of that today?
So this is one that like I wish I had been into it when I was the right age for this game, back when I was a kid. I just never played it, but the world jumping stuff is actually really intriguing, like just as a mechanic and just as an idea for the next generation where you can really bounce around these different environments really quickly. That's exciting. So yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, it's one of the few things that someone has been able to point to me and say, this would not have been possible or very unlikely to have been possible on current tech, because the ability to effectively preload that many game environments so quickly, it's the sort of thing that's only really possible once you have a beefier processor, an SSD, and all these sorts of things. So I do play the odd Ratchet and Clank game here and there. I played some of the PS2 stuff, and I played the kind of the remake reboot, as it were, that was on PS4. So I am kind of down for this, but just like you said, it's really the tech that is so interesting, because it's one of those projects that you look at and go, oh right, this is why we need new consoles.
Well, we certainly do. And like honestly, the speed that we're going to be able to travel through worlds is the biggest boon of the next console generation for me. It's the thing I'm looking forward to the most. I want my games to load quickly. Like even we were talking about Doom. When you die in Doom and you die a lot, it takes a while for the level to load after you die. You have to like wait for it all to go and you get back to the checkpoint. But it's a whole screen where you can scroll through the tutorial, of course, you can learn your new moves, you can learn about your guns. But in those moments, all I want is to just be thrown right back into the game. And that's what this next console generation is promising. Yeah.
I'm wondering if you're like me, are there any games that you look at right now or you play and sort of go, you know what, I know this is going to be way better on the next systems if I just wait a bit, either because of load times or, as you say, those kind of respawn times and that kind of thing. There's certain titles that I pick up, and if I'm looking at a screen, like a loading screen for too long, I just think, you know what, like I'm happy to just let this one slide for a bit, right? I've got other stuff to play, and I'm going to have way more fun if I can hop straight back in, around November time.
For sure. Well, one big title that I haven't gotten into yet this year is Outer Worlds. So like that's one, I don't know what the load times are like in that game, but I mean, that's one that I would love to just kind of breeze through when that tech rolls around too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so that's my excuse now why I haven't played Doom Eternal, because I'm waiting for the next gen up patch. That's why.
Course.
I planned it all along.
You're so smart, Nick. Wow. You should write for a site or something, give people advice on video games.
Another big one that I think is confirmed for tonight is the big remake of the original Mafia game. I don't know how much you sort of experience you have with that particular franchise, but I think that one in particular, the remaster of 3, obviously 3 kind of came out on this current generation of systems, so it hasn't been that long, but I think to see the original one like properly remade from the ground up is quite exciting for a lot of people.
Absolutely. And I know the most recent game in the series was controversial at the time, but like I think looking back, it's like it was a very tame story that felt shocking in an industry where this conversation hadn't really been happening about race and what it meant to be a non-white person just existing in the world. This game really tackled that. So that's what I remember about the series, honestly, is like just kind of how it evolved into this kind of touchstone for a conversation, and how that conversation has evolved to today. So I love seeing the upgrade that we get though with the new tech from these old games that we loved and in our minds may exist as like perfectly detailed masterpieces, and then you see the difference we actually get between the tech now and then and now. It's just, I love seeing that. One of my favorite things in the Halo remake is just like being able to toggle between the versions. Yeah,
you hear that a lot, right? You play something and you think, oh, this is exactly how I remember it. Like that's how good it is. and then you refer back to the old one and you go, oh my God, that is not how I remember it looking at all. You almost don't think it's a remake when you play the new version, but it's only when you actually revert back that you think, oh right, that is how it used to look, i.e. garbage.
Yeah, my brain did a lot of heavy lifting there. Thank you, imagination.
So yeah, I think Mafia is one of those ones where it's been enough time. I imagine there's quite a lot of people that missed the first couple and maybe just went to Mafia 3, especially kind of younger players, right? Because the Mafia series has been around for some time. I think that's a really good one to bring back and give people that entry point again, right? And say, okay, this is where the series has come from, and this is why you should get excited if we do decide to do a Mafia 4 or anything in the future, right? Who knows if they will do a Mafia 4 and if it's ever ready, but I think this is kind of a good way to stir up interest again and say this is actually what the DNA of the franchise is.
Oh, we're going live. Okay.
All right. I think we're ready. Thing. The pre-show is finally done. We're ready for the real thing.
Yes. When we feel out of place, disconnected, and divided,
there are always repercussions.
Do we have what it takes?
All right, I'm going in.
To be heroes? Tonight, we bring the world together.
You're with us now.
We celebrate who we are. And what we are.
I'm with you every step of the way.
The future of gaming. Welcome to Gamescom Opening Night Live.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jeff Keighley, and welcome to Gamescom Opening Night Live 2020. Now, this year, Gamescom is, of course, a little different than normal, and I hope all of you and your families are safe and healthy at home. In 2020, games have comforted and connected us more than ever. And with the launch of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X later this year, games are only going to get better. Well, all summer, I was hopeful we could get to this very moment, a big live showcase filled with more than 35 games to kick off Gamescom 2020. Tonight, you'll get a first look at Fall Guys Season 2 and an extended gameplay demo of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart for PlayStation 5. Plus, we might have a couple surprises along the way, too. But before we start, I want to acknowledge and thank all the game developers, marketers, and publishers who have worked under challenging circumstances to keep us entertained. This show is nothing without them or my production team, and doing a show at this scale safely is not easy, especially when all of you at home have some pretty insane expectations. I hope tonight reminds you why you love to play games. And with that, we're going to move on to our first game with a game that was just announced yesterday, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And joining me is Dan Vondrak from Raven to tell us about the game and give you an exclusive sneak peek. Dan, how you doing?
Good, Jeff. Thanks for having me here. This has been a dream project for us to work on from nearly the beginning of development. We knew Black Ops Cold War was going to be a direct sequel to Black Ops 1, and we loved the idea of returning to the pillars built the Black Ops franchise: deniable operations, conspiracy grounded in history, and that shadowy world of paranoia. And we get to mix all those together, drop the player into the 1980s at the height of the Cold War, and it's really something that we know would feel relevant to today and also uniquely Black Ops.
Well, you start playing with Black Ops, everyone wants to know characters. We saw yesterday in the reveal trailers, some familiar faces. So, Woods, Mason, break it down. How does this fit into the Black Ops canon? You said it's a direct sequel, so are we going to see a lot of familiar faces?
Yeah, part of the fun in making this game was bringing back the iconic characters like Woods and Hudson and Mason and seeing how all those personalities mix with some of the new characters. So the campaign takes place in 1981, and we love that we've been able to have so many connections to the original Black Ops and really be that direct sequel to the game.
Now, one thing that I'm really excited about this is you're pushing the storytelling in kind of a new direction with some branches and some options about how you play through the campaign. Can you maybe walk us through your thinking there?
Yeah, one of the driving forces from early in development was to say, let's take this Black Ops thrill ride and infuse it with some player choice and some player freedom. Anything we can do to give the player a little more ownership over their experience. So that starts with allowing the player to create their own character for the Cold War campaign. They can name them and pick a military background and really pretend they are that Black Ops soldier that they want to be. From there, we wanted to take some of our missions and infuse optional objectives, multiple paths, and some player choice moments inside some of those missions. And it was fun to find that balance between the hard-driving Call of Duty action and these more non-linear experiences inside some of the missions. So with choice comes the player wanting to feel that impact. So some of those choices earlier in the game and some towards the end will actually shape the ending of the narrative of the campaign.
All right, so multiple endings to this game.
Pretty different for them.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the big things for us. It's like we love
love
that Black Ops has always been willing to take risks, and we all know they did some of this in Black Ops 2. And with our story and with these features, we loved playing homage to those early Black Ops games.
Oh, yeah, I remember the numbers. All right. Well, Dan, we are excited to see more of it. I know multiplayer reveal is coming in September, but since you got a switch there, maybe you could flip the switch on something exclusive for us. What are you going to see?
Oh, man. The cheese.
Yeah, absolutely. This is really exciting because this will be the first time we've done this outside the walls of the development studio. This is a scene from earlier in the game, and it's a critical point that really shows the narrative of the world, shows this threat that our heroes are going to be battling. So let's take a look.
Because, you know, everyone plays Call of Duty.
1943. Detailed information from the Manhattan Project was stolen from Los Alamos by the Russian spy known as Perseus. 1968, the Vietnam War. Viet Cong soldiers orchestrated by Perseus attempted to steal an American-made nuclear bomb from a U.S. firebase. 5 days ago, while on a mission, we acquired intel that Perseus is in play again and planning an attack on the West. Perseus, the CIA's analysts consider him to be the single largest threat to the free world.
Mr. Hudson, we're all aware of Perseus. We're also aware he's more myth than fact. I mean, personally, I think he's nothing more than the Russian boogeyman.
General Haig, allow me to introduce the man best suited to respond to that. CIA clandestine special officer Russell Adler. He's one of the few people who even come close to capturing Perseus.
Mr. Adler, why should we take this Perseus threat seriously?
You don't have to, sir.
Yeah, then a lot of innocent people are gonna die.
Why do you say that?
Sir.
Every time Perseus has come into play, it shifted the balance of the Cold War. After 13 years of silence, if he's active, something big is gonna happen. Something that will affect the free world.
Big fan of all these sunglasses.
How they use giant sunglasses.
Great hair, great sunglasses.
And smoking glasses.
Mr. President.
Sir.
Mr. President.
Mr. President, this is Jason Hudson and Russell Adler.
I know their names. Who do you think approved their last mission? Is the threat real?
Yes, sir, we believe it is.
Can you stop Perseus?
We can, sir. I've already submitted the requisition for my team.
Sir, their requests are highly irregular. Most likely illegal if the press gets a hold.
What the hell are you talking about? Do you know who we are?
Every mission we go on is illegal.
Sergeant Woods, plausible deniability is the backbone of our work.
Al, we're talking about preventing an attack on the free men and women of the world. Give Mr. Adler whatever he wants. Gentlemen, you've been given an important task. Protecting our very way of life from a great evil. There is no higher duty. There is no higher honor. And while few people will know of your struggles, rest assured, the entire free world will benefit. I know you won't fail us.
reminds you of Mission Impossible and all those sorts of things, right?
For you guys as well, including this one, a new next-gen narrative action-adventure game from Reflector Entertainment in Montreal. It's called Unknown 9. The game tells the story of Haruna, a woman raised on the streets of India and haunted by visions of her own death. Haruna struggles to understand her mysterious innate abilities to manipulate the unseen. Check out this first look.
His game announcement.
Love it.
Looks kind of cool. It's so hard to judge sometimes from just a CG teaser, but
it looks cool. It's a little like Heroesy, and the
quite mysterious.
Outfits looks cool. I'm into it. I love a new setting.
In the unknown. Well, it's something for next gen consoles. It's confirmed right there. More stuff to play.
All right, let's get to the gameplay. One of this year's biggest games has been Doom Eternal. Tonight, we've got an exclusive first look at the campaign expansion called The Ancient Gods Part 1. Check this out.
We've been allies for some time now. I knew who you were the moment you set foot in the room. Your gifts hold to us now.
You going to Rapture?
Finally. I've always wanted to go there.
The Slayer has arrived. Please proceed with control.
Man, I love those takedowns. Yeah. It's just all the projectiles, basically, isn't it? Are all like either bright red or bright yellow. Whoa. It's been like, what if Doom, but also God of War?
So that's fun. 10/20/20. All right, not too long for that one.
I looked sick, but I mean, I was already sold, so still cool to see it.
Marks the 25th anniversary of a legendary game studio, BioWare. Tonight, Casey Hudson and the team wanted to give everyone around the world a little taste of what's next. Casey, over to you.
Hey Jeff, it's great to see you again. 6 years ago, we were on the stage with you at the 2014 Game Awards, accepting the Game of the Year for Dragon Age Inquisition. And since then, we've been imagining new ways to use next-generation technology to bring the world and characters of Dragon Age to life. We're still in early production, but we thought it was time to give you the very first look at how BioWare's passionate team of developers are crafting this very special game.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, baby.
I was not expecting Dragon Age tonight.
No.
I've been at BioWare for a really long time, so I've got to see it grow up and turn from a company of 35 people to a company of more than 300 people.
There's amazing people in the industry. There's amazing stories to be told with other people.
I love that character so much.
We're very experimental here at BioWare, so we're always coming up with new stuff.
We're always trying to improve, innovate, and bring new characters to life for our players and fans to enjoy.
The world of Dragon Age really has got it all. It's got frontier stories, it's got mystery, it's got hard-boiled detective stories. And of course, it's all wrapped up in kind of a fantasy setting.
You really feel like you're the hero in the Dragon Age world and you're saving people.
Dragon Age to me is a wonderful world to play in.
I am really excited about the future of Dragon Age. This is an original world, original flora, original wildlife, original architecture. That makes it fun to explore and discover.
This is such a tease.
In the next Dragon Age, you get an opportunity
They're not showing
to
much.
see new things, new places, and interact with people who lived and grew up in these spaces as well.
For the game we're working on now, we want to tell a story. What happens when you don't have power? What happens when the people in charge aren't willing to address the issues?
The things that you can expect in the next installment are going to be stories that focus on the people around you and the friends and family you make.
Something that we'll be able to look forward to in Dragon Age is a really close relationship with game characters who really become real for you.
We want characters to either be loved or hated. One of the best examples of that is Solas. Half the community wants to kill him, half the people want to marry him, and another part want to do both.
They call me the Dread Wolf. What will they call you when this is over?
BioWare and EA has been one of the forerunners in using motion magic technology, and that makes it way more realistic when you're looking at the characters and the way they walk and move and interact in the world.
Players want that suspension of disbelief that this wonderful collection of digital pixels is actually a living, breathing soul.
No, it's okay. That's the good kind of rumble.
I actually design bosses. I help with the creature design team as well. So I do all of like the big threats that you have to go up against.
Nobody dies on my watch. For the Wardens!
Choice is a big part of what Dragon Age is as a franchise. The decisions you make can affect change in the world.
Decision making can mean that a party member lives or a party member dies. And it means owning your outcome and reactivity to the choices that you do make.
I just love the possibilities that Dragon Age offers us, and I'm excited to explore a lot more of them.
To me, that potential is what gets you up in the morning. It's a fantastic opportunity every time.
Man, how much pressure must they be feeling after Anthem, though? I reckon there is so much riding on that. It's ridiculous.
There is. The future of that studio, possibly, yeah.
Back to the future? What?
What? Yeah, what? Telltale Games. Back to
What?
wait.
I think there's serious miscalculation.
Wow, wait, you're, what's his name? Back to the Future?
I'm Emmanuel Brown, doctor of physics, not of medicine, and certainly not that quack from Rick and Morty.
What is happening?
Yeah, we know who you are, but what are you doing here?
I did come back from the future to this precise moment on August 27th, 2020, because it's imperative we launch Surgeon Simulator 2 right now.
And what exactly do you have to do with Surgeon Simulator?
Amazing.
During the mid-20th century, some friends of mine from Bernardshire University invented a state-of-the-art medical training facility, otherwise known as the Surgeon Simulator Training Program. Now,
Do you reckon he has that jacket just lying around?
digitize the experience.
No, I didn't see.
It's unbelievable. You can access the program through your computer and then be medically trained from the comfort of your keyboard. And it's available as of, great Scott, this very moment. Tonight, I want to world premiere a few examples of some of the incredibly successful test subjects who have already completed the course.
So you're saying a world premiere will save our future?
Only time will tell. And speaking of time, I'm off to another world premiere, Avengers 26, The Return of the Son of Thanos, opening 2077. And with that, I leave the fate of the human race in your hands. Just make sure you play Surgeon Simulator 2.
Do you remember when Jeff had the Muppets at the Game Awards? I feel like this is up there with that for sure in terms of Jeff Keighley pulls.
Like good pull. Good job.
Good celebrity cameos.
Love it. Oh, that was great. This is
A
great.
little pat on the head. Where does this part go? Wait, there, we got it. He looks good as new.
Now grab the good arm and bring it in here. We're dying. He's dying.
Oh, no! That's not right! My finger slipped!
It's the
Jesus Christ! What a bad!
This is why it takes 12 years to become a
We saved it.
Is that exclusive then? Epic Game Store?
Epic exclusive.
Doc
Another
Brown
gap.
introducing Jacksepticeye playing Surgeon Simulator, only on Opening Night Live. All right, well, if you thought that crossover was kind of crazy, wait until you get a load of this next game announcement that I don't think anyone probably saw coming. Check this out.
The game announcement. World premiere. What is this? I'm so intrigued. He's not that fast. What is this? Oh, a new bridge constructor. Okay. Not a tie-in I would have ever expected, but okay. I guess I can get on board.
Tonight is just the start of Gamescom 2020. Over the next 3 days, there are more streams from IGN and Webedia with in-depth looks at games, a digital cosplay contest, and some special new shows just for Gamescom. Your portal for all things Gamescom this year is Gamescom Now, which you can check out at gamescom.global. Now, one game you'll hear more about later on IGN's post-show is this one, a return of two classic characters that I love. Check this out.
Is this Ratchet? No. Saying yes.
In a world gone strange, one elite force stands against the darkness. But even
oh, is this
Here,
yeah, Sam and Max, is it?
Sam, I'm blind. Oh, hello, miss.
It's like a classic adventure game, right?
The return of Sam and Max. Yes. All right. And now it's time to say hello to my wonderful co-host for ONL from IGN. Please say hello to Sydney Goodman.
Thank you, Jeff. What's up, everyone? I'm Sydney Goodman, and I am thrilled to be here. Gamescom is always such a fun event, and throughout the show tonight, I'll be telling you about all the different ways that IGN is involved in this year's festivities. But first, I have an award to announce. The winner of Best Nintendo Switch Game is Little Nightmares 2. Huge congratulations. Like I said, IGN is going to be here for all of Gamescom with great shows such as the Gamescom Studio, where you can find me and my co-hosts for all day long.
Wait, did they just hand out an award? Is that what happened?
And more. Plus, we have Gamescom Awesome Indies, a show with and for indie developers. That premieres Saturday, August 29th at 7 p.m. Central European Time, so be sure to tune in for more announcements and special guests. And now, let's go back to Jeff for our next big world premiere.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sid. We are so excited to see what's in the Gamescom studio and also Awesome Indies. And I'm going to be on the Daily Show tomorrow, so looking forward to that. All right, well, on to our next game. In the next World of Warcraft expansion, players will journey beyond the mortal world of Azeroth to a place where no living soul has set foot before. The Shadowlands, the afterlife of an entire Warcraft universe. The infinite realms of the Shadowlands are watched over by different factions, known as Covenants, each holding dominion over a different aspect of the afterlife. And depending on how someone lived their mortal life, they may end up as part of one of these Covenants when they cross over into the Shadowlands. Today, we're excited to give you a closer look at the noble and pure Kyrian Covenant from the realm of Bastion, who are charged with carrying the souls of the dead into the beyond. So sit back and get ready for the world premiere of Bastion, the first in Blizzard Entertainment's new 4-part series of animated shorts called Afterlives. Enjoy.
They did say they were gonna show this. There was gonna be an animated short of some kind. I do remember.
Yeah, you're right. I do. I remember hearing about that. They could have picked a name that wasn't already a video game.
Light, save my soul.
Are we about to watch like a half-hour animated episode, or I wonder how long this is?
Uther. Well, I mean, I could grab some popcorn. I'm down. You feel?
Welcome to Bastion. You led a truly selfless life, and for that, you have been chosen.
Chosen?
To shed your mortal burdens and join the ranks of the Ascended, serving to ferry the souls of the dead unto the Shadowlands.
I serve the light, and my work is not done.
This is more like an animated sort of comic book, more so than an animated episode. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, this is a storyboard. Yeah.
You're wrong. He destroyed my home, murdered my people and my king. He must be punished.
You are an aspirant now. You must accept your new purpose and purge yourself of this desire for vengeance.
What I desire is justice.
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 Devos, why are you training this
Also
soul?
pizza.
It is beneath your station as a paragon.
He cannot let go. He continues to demand
This
retribution.
is really deep, serious, slow stuff for a live show.
Souls take eons.
Yeah, it's not what I would have chosen to show during a big presentation, but
not me.
Unlike any soul I have seen, I have begun to wonder whether he was deemed worthy of Bastion. By mistake.
Be careful, Devos. I would not let the Archon hear such a thought. In time, he will forget. Trust our ways. Trust the path.
Devos, how long must we train?
Until you are ready to ascend.
And what is keeping me
it's
from
got a great beard though,
ascension?
I'll give him that.
Nothing but the memory of your mortal life.
How can I forget when I can still feel his blade?
Your soul is wounded.
That was rude.
Who did this to you?
He was my student. He betrayed us all.
Show me.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Are we though?
Oh my god.
Scary.
The runes on his blade were unmistakable. This dark agent runs free on a mortal world with the power of the Maw itself in hand. Our realm is imperiled.
Impossible. The Maw is inescapable. You must return to the path.
If he had purged his life, we never would have known of this calamity. The path is flawed.
Enough! The order of the Shadowlands depends on the execution of our eternal charge. You will abandon.
This is why this show is 2 hours. We're watching a movie right now.
This can't go on much longer, right? Like, it's barely an animated. Like, I know this takes work, guys, but like, come on. It's just not what I came here for. That's all.
It's because I'm not a huge like WoW lore guy. If I was, I imagine I'd be all over this.
Sure, it's fine.
I thought I was not ready.
Even if this was like League of Legends right now, I feel like we'd be equally.
I do.
Then prepare yourself.
I was gonna say they are making a League of Legends animated series. I think it's that next year.
It's about Jinx and sisterhood, and yeah, I'm very excited.
We will claim him.
Oh no.
Rip.
Oh, he does not look good.
Only darkness before me.
Now, cast him into the maw. Return him to the darkness he served. His eternal suffering awaits.
He was my student.
Remember what he did, and take your vengeance.
Not vengeance. Justice.
Whew. All right.
You know, something different.
Could have warned us, taken a bathroom break or something.
Look
I don't
at
know.
Bastion.
That's fine.
Now, we know many of you can't wait to experience Shadowlands, and our friends at Blizzard want you to know the wait is almost over.
Maybe we get some gameplay?
That'd be cool.
Just before Halloween. It's crazy to think that both WoW and WoW Classic are like two of still the biggest MMORPGs.
Isn't that nuts? I know. It's really impressive.
A lot of people will be resubscribing in order to get that.
October 27th it is official, and we have so much more Opening Night Live still to go for you. Ratchet & Clank, PlayStation 5, much more. Stay tuned. All right, but now it's time for the announcement of a new universe that is coming to gaming for the first time with a project from a Canadian studio. Check this out.
They have returned. They corrupted, divided, conquered, until finally, the gates of the celestial realm were thrown open. Our last remaining hope, the Stormcast Eternals. Vengeance made manifest. Unbound, unbroken, we will take back what the dead have ravaged.
There are many Warhammer games now, but it's cool to see them.
You guys may remember back in June, I had some
recreating that world
fun
digitally
with my buddy Crash Bandicoot announcing Crash 4 It's About Time.
Me too.
With the game coming in October, Crash, of course, had to come back for Opening Night Live. So let's bring him out, everybody. Crash Bandicoot.
No, please, let's not.
What? He's where?
Oh, I hate people in these suits. Ugh.
Crash has always done this, though.
I know. The mask is funny. Okay.
Yeah, that's where we used to be.
Also, if you like doing these suits, you do your thing. I just personally find it terrifying to be approached by someone in a suit.
I appreciate that they made a massive face mask for him, though.
I like that.
Yeah, they did such a good job, though, both with that remake trilogy and with
Crash apparently didn't
Crash
get the memo about Gamescom,
racing as well. Like, they have more than earned chance to do this game.
Lou Studdert from Toys
For
for
sure.
Bob. Lou, what did we see there with Crash and the Gamescom bot?
Apparently you saw him wandering around Cologne, but what he was hinting at was kind of our reveal of what we call flashback tapes, which are a brand new style of level that we are announcing here today.
Okay, so how do these flashback levels kind of play into the overall Crash 4 narrative?
Yeah, so the way that the flashback tape levels work is that they are kind of a peek back in time to the 90s when Neo Cortex was actually testing on Crash and Coco before the events of Crash Bandicoot 1. And they're kind of these devious puzzle rooms that we've made, and they're really hard, and they're really awesome, and they're super creative, and we can't wait to get people's hands on them.
Yeah, no, I got to play a demo of this a few weeks ago, and that was a challenge, so I can't imagine how nefarious these are. How are they going to be sort of integrated into the game? Are they optional, like offshoot stuff, or how do you get to them?
Sure. So players actually have to collect the flashback tapes in the levels themselves. They're an object that they can pick up, and to actually pick them up, they have to reach them in the level without dying. It's kind of our homage to the death routes from the original trilogy. So players have to reach these objects in the level, pick them up, and then once they get them, they'll get access to these unique levels.
So beyond the pure challenge, what other fun? How are these fun for players to kind of experience, and what do they get to do in them?
Sure. So one of the things that we did was we actually used these as, like I said, puzzle rooms, really kind of fun, nefarious, devious ways for Crash to really express that pure platforming kind of aspect of gameplay that we know and love about the franchise. But then narratively for us, it was really cool to layer in kind of a unique perspective to the franchise. This is the moment when Cortex is really excited about the prospect of Crash being on his team, because Crash was originally created by Cortex, and so this is a weird point in time that's never really been explored in the games before.
Awesome. All right. Well, Crash 4, It's About Time looks phenomenal, Lou. We cannot wait to check it out in October. Thanks for joining us.
Do you reckon they're all 2D
Awesome.
like
All right,
that?
well, we will be right back after this for more.
October's
Gamescom Opening
fairly
Night
busy
Live.
for releases, as it usually
for
is.
I have become terror. The unseen predator. A rupture that obliterates without warning. Alone, the hordes of Enoch will fall before me. But together, this entire planet will fear us. The anomaly alters us, each in our own ways, yet we are drawn down the same road, into the dark heart of creation. 'Cause I feel the way you feel. Yeah, I kill the way you kill. We will find the source, whatever it holds, whatever it
Has to be
takes.
co-op with 3 people, right?
Has to.
Oh, Outriders. Our colleague Matt Smith
Outriders,
has got
that's
a
right.
preview of this up on the site if you want to check out and read more about it. Quick ad
Welcome to
break.
the Hyperscape.
Red Bull.
Enter a
Wow.
contender. Leave as a champion.
This is it.
Is this the hyper base? Or is that a
Yeah,
different one?
I know people who have tried it.
EA's.
This is Ubisoft's one, right?
Oh, is it? Okay. Hyperscape. There it is. Ubisoft.
Oh, I really want to play this game. It's like a super
This is
over-the-top anime soccer game. Where like everything is a super move.
Perfect.
There's going to be some like
Yeah, this looks
weirdly,
great.
stupidly dramatic storyline involved, and I'm going to be all over it. Rise of New
Welcome
Love
to
it.
Necromunda. I can see you're new here. Let me get you up to speed. The Underhive's named well. A sprawl of
More Warhammer?
humanity suffering away
Oh,
like
Warhammer.
ants. Deep underground where we ain't causing trouble but a rich
We haven't had
boys
enough,
and girls,
apparently.
no matter how loud we are. And do we ever make some noise? Every Orlok says they could shoot the tail off a lashworm and they'd splash your head from 20 paces for saying they couldn't. I don't want to say immortal, but when their armor, blood, skin and will are of iron, it's a potent combo. Why would someone like you want to know about an all-female gang of psychopaths, drug dealers, killers, cloners and... Oh, makes sense. And Escher will cut you up just for the fun of it. Goliaths are big. That's it. Anything smaller than them doesn't deserve to live. And they're just as happy filling you with lead as they are smashing you to pieces with a power maul. Now, mixing that whole pot together in a place like this, you can imagine what happens. Chaos, gang warfare, for wealth, for power, hell, sometimes just for fun. So, think you're ready? Necromunda Underhive Wars comes to PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC on September 8th.
Very conveniently color-coded factions there.
Realidades virtuais extremamente fidedignas e realistas, eu acho que também se encontra em formas mais expressivas e absurdas, quebrando cada vez mais esses paradigmas de formato de videogame que a gente tem e sendo usado mais do que nunca como uma ferramenta de expressão artística.
I envision the future of gaming to be quite bright and quite online. The next generation of console will clearly allow AAA and indie developers to build more creative-driven games that I hope will cover more diverse subjects.
I want to play all kinds of stories about people and places, both real and imagined. I want comedy games, I want autobiographical games. I really want to see what people can do with the medium.
Pro futuro dos games, eu vejo uma evolução, obviamente, gráfica, mas eu vejo ainda mais evolução na inteligência artificial e na maneira com a qual a gente interage com os games, tudo em busca de experiências mais imersivas.
Okay, Jeff.
Back to Jeff's cube.
You know, one of the things I love about opening night is that we can show you the biggest games in the industry and also smaller titles that should be on your radar. So pay attention to this next game. It comes from a team of two in Sweden, Tuxedo Labs. Over the past 3 years, developer Dennis Gustafsson has built his own game engine to realize his vision for a fully destructible game world. What he's building has absolutely blown me away, so I asked Dennis to prepare a special trailer just for tonight. I hope you're equally inspired by the ideas in this next game. Definitely one to watch. Teardown.
It just remind me of, you know, when you see Minecraft with like ray tracing or just really, really good shaders on?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yes. Dude, ray trace Minecraft is beautiful.
Yeah. Wow, it's crazy that one guy has made not only all of these assets, but the engine itself.
Exactly. I like how all the materials construct the same, it looks like Legos.
So is it kind of like speedrun your way through? Like how efficient can you get by smashing holes in buildings?
Mm-hmm.
Last year at Opening Night Live, we announced Little Nightmares 2 to the world. Well, the team at Tarsier Studios hasn't shown anything since, but that changes right now. Here is a first look at the gameplay of Little Nightmares 2, which is coming next February, with more to come throughout the week at Gamescom, including a live demo on Gamescom Studio tomorrow.
Nice.
Okay.
I think the first one did really well.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, thank you.
There's some creepy stuff in this game.
This is my kind of game, for sure.
Ooh, next gen upgrades.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler, and I'm reuniting with my old buddy Mauro Ranallo to bring you all the
tonal shift.
action in WWE 2K Battleground.
This is shocking.
This is great.
Who put this right after Little Nightmare? I love it.
Outrageous, with over 70 WWE superstars and legends brawling it out like never before. Oh no, hold on to your toupee, Mauro. Look out below. WWE is LIT. You know, I'm a little more old school than Mauro, so I can't wait to see these WWE legends teach these kids a thing or two. And you know what? Here's a closer look at the insane action. It's a great evening for WWE action. Oh, wow! Take that, Mauro! Man, it's so good to see the Bella Twins at their best. And now, let's keep this party rolling with another matchup.
Whatever he's having, I wanted as well.
Hey, dude, I love the energy of WWE, but this is just nuts.
Mamma mia, what a move! Finish him! Oh no! He just hit the snooze button! How do you lose like that? What's the matter with you legends? This is just an example of the pandemonium that you're gonna experience when you head to the battlegrounds. Whew, that's a big toy hammer! Oh, I can't believe my eyes!
I don't remember them being enveloped in purple flames.
What a night! What a night! This is the greatest
I
thing
don't
I've ever
know
seen!
anything about this.
Pre-order WWE 2K Battlegrounds today and brawl without limits.
Wow.
Mamma
That
mia!
is a lot.
Sorry, Mauro, I know that's your line.
That's out in
Hello
September.
again. I have even more awards to announce, so let's get right down to it. The winner of Best Action Adventure Game is Watch Dogs Legion.
The city needs a resistance.
Who's voting? Did we miss this?
It starts with you.
Oh, man.
What do you say?
It's like the Game Awards, right? Where they kind of sneak in the fact that, oh, by the way, we're also handing out some awards, but we kind of don't want you to think about that.
The winner of Best Action Game is Star Wars Squadrons.
Please, really bad. In VR, please.
That would be great. Yes, please. This is just a list of her favorite
The
games.
winner of Best Multiplayer Game is Operation
Winner.
Tango.
Operation Tango. It takes two to save the world. I used to be an explorer.
The winner of Best Indie Game is Curious Expedition 2.
Cool.
Did not believe what I
Yeah, I'd like to see the categories for this.
Yeah, this stuff is cool. I hate it when they present it in this way.
Right. What am I supposed to feel
Congratulations
about
to
any of
all
it?
the winners. As I mentioned, IGN will be here for all of Gamescom with great shows and new ways for you to get all your gaming news. Check it out.
Gamescom 2020 is the heart of gaming, and you can keep to the beat right here on IGN. We've turned the single biggest show in gaming into 5. Gamescom Now is your virtual show floor with up-to-the-second live coverage. Gamescom Daily Show, Gamescom's first ever late-night talk show, our Gamescom Awesome Indie Show, the freshest deep cuts in indie gaming, and finally, the Gamescom Best of Show, including the Gamescom Award. Gamescom 2020 is available on IGN and wherever you stream Gamescom Now.
And now it is time to talk about that Best Action Game winner, Star Wars Squadrons. This is a new immersive space combat game from Motive Studios that delivers the ultimate Star Wars pilot fantasy. We've missed those. In Squadrons, you'll suit up and fly for both the New Republic and the Galactic Empire across intense 5v5 multiplayer battles, as well as an all-new, authentic single-player story set after the events of Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Today, we'll get a glimpse at what Squadron's story has to offer by taking a brief look at one of the single-player missions featuring some light narration by the Motive team. Let's check it out.
I'm excited.
It's gonna be another long trailer. Let's go, baby.
Light or dark, freedom or destruction. The Empire chose to destroy Alderaan in order to spread fear and douse the fires of rebellion. But the heroic pilots of the Rebel Alliance have chosen to keep fighting, to show the Empire that we are not afraid. It was their bravery that ended Palpatine's reign and brought about our new Republic. However, the Empire lives on, shattered though it may be. As I speak, Imperial forces are edging toward the Bormia sector, hoping to end our new Republic before we find our footing. As their empire collapses, they try to tighten their grip. But the galaxy is changing, and you can be a part of it. With the help of brave and daring pilots, this war can end. Make a choice. Fly with the new Republic. Change our galaxy for the better.
What a recruitment
Hi,
video.
I'm Suzanne Hunka, narrative producer on Star Wars Squadrons. Our single-player story is one of daring pilots and deep-seated rivalries.
Take Titan Squadron. Hunt down this Starhawk and eliminate it.
Gladly, Admiral Sloane. Over the course of the story, you'll fly as two pilots on opposite sides of the war. And, like all modes in Star Wars Squadrons, you'll have the option to experience every mission fully immersed in VR.
Wedge Antilles, Rogue Squadron. I hear you're the reason I was able to finally get a comm through.
Today, we're giving you a glimpse of an early Imperial mission behind enemy lines.
One of our spies, Agent Thorne, has discovered vital intelligence on Project Starhawk. Your mission is to extract her from an orbital outpost above Hosnian Prime. Behind enemy lines, you'll have to eliminate perimeter defenses. The outpost is defenseless. When you've secured the area, you will escort the Gladius to the outpost, and our extraction team will acquire Agent Thorne. Once Thorne is secure, reach your Gozanti cruisers and return to the Overseer.
Cover our escape and escort us to the jump point. We have Republic corvettes inbound. Move, Titan.
I love seeing the kind of first-person window frame and everything, but it's so hard to see like where I should be going.
It makes sense in VR or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's tough here. I love the sound effects though. Sound to those.
Each mission will immerse you into the escalating conflict between the New Republic and a shattered empire. Debrief with your squad mates between missions.
You're our new wingmate.
Customize and master all 8 starfighters and join the galaxy's finest.
I need you focused and ready to go.
From bombing runs at the Nadiri dockyards to setting a trap in the Xavian Abyss, the story of these rival squadrons will push the war to the brink and define the galaxy for years to come. I look forward to seeing you in combat October 2nd.
Like you said, pilots wanted. That's recruitment. Let's go.
That is not all EA has to share from a galaxy far, far away today. At Star Wars Galaxy Edge, you can enter the world of Batuu, where you can visit Oga's Cantina or jump into the Millennium Falcon on a run to Smuggler's Cove. It was this incredible adventure at Disneyland Resort and Walt Disney World Resort that inspired The Sims' latest game pack. Check this out.
That was a segue.
Holy
cow.
That isn't where I was expecting it to go at all.
What the?
What haven't they done for a Sims expansion at this point?
I mean, this is one of the longest running franchises too, right? Like Warcraft we were talking about. Yeah.
I just can't imagine being like playing The Sims and thinking, oh, I'm going to leave my suburban house this morning and then fly to this planet instead.
When does Sims turn into Second Life? That's the line.
Yeah, it's not as far away as you might think.
Really not. Yeah, this is a lot of hashtag content. like Star Wars specific stuff just for Sims.
Oh, you can literally
Wow.
make your house a
That's cool.
Star Wars settlement. If I can move in with Kylo Ren, then I'm down, basically.
Ooh, baby.
I wanna live out my fanfiction fantasies.
Tell me more,
even
Nick.
more Star Wars to come later in the show. Lego Star
Also
Wars
Sharon.
The Skywalker Saga is up, and as we move into
Oh,
our
right.
second hour, we've got Fall Guys Season 2
Oh
still
my God,
to come,
you
the
just said
reveal
that.
of that, which I can't wait for you guys
Oh
to see.
man, he's teasing it so
Of course,
hard.
a gameplay demo of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart for PlayStation 5. But right now, you might remember this next game from Annapurna Interactive from last year's Microsoft E3 event. And today, I'm excited to share a new announcement from the team. This interactive thriller about a man stuck in a time loop is one of this year's most intriguing indie titles, and now they've added an absolutely all-star cast to the game. Here's a whole new look at 12 minutes.
Oh, I remember this.
This game does look pretty rad. Yeah. It's pretty dark too, though. It's pretty
All
somber.
right, close your eyes. I want you to think of a flower. Look at its contours, its curves. Now I want you to imagine it changing, moving backward, returning to its bud. Think of that bud, unopened. Look at it as a whole. Then silently repeat these phrases. May you be free from suffering. May you be free from fear. May you know peace and joy.
I was going to say that sounds like Willem Dafoe.
Totally.
Reminds me from Beyond Two Souls, I think he was in.
Uh-huh.
Oh, these are great voice actors. those.
Xbox. Yeah, that's great.
That's going to be a really special indie game. So glad to announce that here on the show. Now, last year at the Game Awards, we announced Godfall, a new looter shooter coming to PlayStation 5 and PC from Counterplay. Tonight, we've got a quick sneak peek of one of the new Valor plates with more footage coming as part of Gamescom 2020. Check this out.
I'll be honest, I haven't been super impressed when I've seen this before.
Same.
Oh,
We
so
have much more O&L
That
to
was
come.
it.
Exclusive looks at Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, Fall Guys Season 2.
Oh my God.
Wait until you see what the Mediatonic guys are up to.
How many times is he
much
going to
more.
name drop
First,
this?
I'm sure you saw that earlier this week, Heart of Deimos, Warframe's newest expansion, was released on PC, Xbox, and PS4. And today, it's also on Switch, all platforms. Here's a look at the Heart of Deimos.
Man, that was such a weird clip of Godfall they showed for like 5 seconds.
I don't understand how they scheduled all this. But
territory.
sure, there's some method to it.
But that was what it wanted too. It raged unchecked through metal, bone, flesh. Life. We are infested with it.
What? Visitors?
Now, the gateway is failing. The jaws close. The final heartbeat approaches.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
But before we fall, we shall scream. There is one who will hear the heart of Deimos.
Wow.
Warframe is massive. Everyone I know who's played it has basically been hooked on it.
So many people have been discovering or rediscovering video games during lockdown, whether it be older people or bored teenagers or middle-aged parents who suddenly find they have to do something together with their kids. And I think I've given out more advice about video games in 2020 than any other time ever. And as a result, it's more important than ever that we keep making different, interesting things for folk to play.
A pandemia pela qual a gente está passando tem sido um período difícil a todos. Então, nesse momento, eu acho que a gente precisa lembrar de mostrar mais empatia, demonstrar mais amor, mais carinho e saber que a gente vai sair dessa juntos. Vai ser difícil, mas isso tudo vai passar.
I hope everybody gets healthy and safely through this coronavirus time. Care about other people and wear your masks.
Jogos são, na minha opinião pessoal, a forma de arte mais incrível de se expressar. Eles englobam tudo: música, arte, escrita, e você tem a chance de controlar e vivenciar essas experiências você mesmo. É mágico, é maravilhoso. Jogos são por amor.
World premiere.
World premiere.
Give me a second, I'm trying to select the appropriate weapon. Watch where you stepping, them snakes all around, you know they connected. When I was a kid, my grandmama told me I can't go to heaven, so I stopped praying and asking for blessings. Started preparing for my Armageddon. Got nothing to lose, I'm all in.
It reminds me of those Lego Bionicle statues a little bit. Mixed with Punch Out?
Right, yeah. Oh, I like the bubble gum. That's fun.
Mercy from Overwatch?
Yep, basically.
Oh, number 2.
Oh, we missed. Oh,
okay.
Crossover announcement.
I mean, I like some giant robots.
With Overwatch. Yeah. Override 2.
All right, guys, we're back officially into hour 2. We've got an hour more of great stuff to show you. Destiny 2, Beyond Light. Stasis, you're going to see a brand new look at that. Fall Guys Season 2 and Ratchet & Clank for PlayStation 5.
We need someone to keep a running tally of how many times he mentions Fall Guy.
Live continues, and it just is the start of Gamescom 2020. But right
Take
now,
a shot
on
of coffee
September
every time he says
25th,
it?
Mafia Definitive Edition launches, a comprehensive, built-from-the-ground-up remake of the original Mafia. Tonight, we've got the exclusive debut of the next trailer called A Life of Reward Too Big to Ignore, which deals with Tommy's induction into the Salieri crime family. Check this out.
I feel like this whole show could have been an hour at the longest.
In this room,
like, I'm just saying, there's a lot of extra fat on here.
The only thing that matters to me. The only thing that should matter to any of us. You know what that is, Tommy?
They're loyal.
That's right.
One day you're busting your back, doing an honest day's work in a city that's been trying to scrape you off its heels since the day you stepped off the boat. And the next you're stuffing your pockets full of Salieri's dirty money.
Go get him, Tommy!
Teach these boys a lesson. Break every bone in their bodies.
You want me to become one of those Wall Street boys? Don't sass me, Tommy. I'm trying to teach you the ropes, so you don't get strangled by them.
Now you stay straight with me. You're gonna
This
be
looks
living
great.
a high lifetime.
Yeah.
It's a really good upgrade, yeah.
Don Salieri, you won't ever need to worry about me.
Okay then. Welcome to the family.
There just isn't enough games that are based in this time period. It's so cool to see it brought to life in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we're going to introduce you to a turn-based multiplayer strategy FPS from a team in Montreal, Canada. Lemnis Gate is coming in early 2021 and has a unique mechanic built around a 25-second time loop. Check this out.
So many games about time loops.
I know. Maybe we're all a little obsessed with changing the past. We're all feeling a little regretful, just existentially.
This is the kind of game that would break my head like so quickly.
Yeah.
Reminds me when I was trying to play Super Time Force and I would just couldn't keep up after about 3 goes.
It gets very like anxiety fueled. Yeah. Lemnis Gate.
Yeah, Lemnis?
Next spring, get ready to experience memorable moments and non-stop action from all 9 Star Wars films in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. The entire series has been reimagined with new fun-filled LEGO humor, and now we've got your first look at the gameplay trailer.
Okay, the LEGO games they're way too
unstoppable
fun for what they are. They're unstoppable, but they are so charming and so
I
fun.
want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father.
The Force is unusually strong with him. That much is clear. Twisted by the dark side, young Skywalker has become.
I feel like they've done a lot of Star Wars games though.
We've seen at least 2 already in this show alone. I mean, yeah.
No, but I mean, there's been LEGO Star Wars games before,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, this is all like all the movies together now. I don't know.
Yeah.
From the Resistance. Your sister Leia sent me. We need your help.
That was hilarious. Okay. These games are so cute.
The Force will be with you, always.
Punch it! Not him, the Falcon.
It looks like really good. Like the environments look way better than they should.
Really detailed, yeah. It's those reflections, man. We figured that out. All the ray,
I'm a Jedi.
or the lighting effects.
Like my father before me. So be it. Jedi.
Cute. Very cute. The Skywalker Saga. Why not?
Wait and get it on next gen. PS5 maybe.
Man, Lego Star Wars looks so fun, coming to next gen as well. All right, we'll be right back with more world premieres from huge new games like Ratchet & Clank, Rift Apart, Medal of Honor, Above and Beyond, and Destiny 2. But before that, here's a look at a game that is launching tonight on Nintendo Switch and Steam. It's called Struggling from Frontier, a fun physics-based platformer where up to 2 players control Troy, our fleshy hero. Check this out, and remember, you can play this tonight.
Oh my. I love a video game that looks like a cartoon.
This is a bit of a spoiler, but it's like, what if at the end of Inside you just kept playing?
The unofficial sequel to Inside.
Yeah. It's like a
Very
human goopy ball.
Are the monsters.
Oh, it's the kind of game that you know is going to infuriate you, but that's why you buy it anyway.
Super Meat Boy style, yeah.
Yeah.
Age of Empires 3. I do love that cross-platform multiplayer and just cross-saves, all this stuff is becoming more of a standard. That's really what we need, so I love that.
Where are we? We're near Little Hope.
This is a movie. What's happening?
Did you play Man of Medan last year?
Oh, is this the next? I didn't play it. No, I haven't played it yet.
It's good. I think it's, I don't know, maybe not quite what Until Dawn was, but it's still worth playing for sure.
Until Dawn is just a very special game. It really was, yeah.
Can't wait for the next Forza or Gran Turismo. I think this game is coming out really soon. Yeah, tomorrow.
There you go.
I gotta say, the game that I've given the most hours to, that I love going back to, is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I have to say, since Origins came out, this new reboot of Assassin's Creed, so to speak, that was my first time getting into it, and I have put almost 400 hours into Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
At the moment, I enjoy to play Fall Guys with my friends. It's very funny, easy to learn, but hard to master.
I have a few games that I binge play, games that I return to every year. Halo, the entire Master Chief Collection, is really a big one for me where that's concerned. but I also still just casually binge Animal Crossing, and I've been doing that basically all year.
I haven't put down Animal Crossing since I downloaded it. I find the daily repetitive rhythm so soothing and predictable. Although much like my house, my island is still a complete tip.
Up next, we have the award for Best Microsoft Xbox Game. And the winner is Tell Me Why. Congratulations to Don't Nod Entertainment. Well, after a big day of Gamescom events and announcements, you'll be happy to know that IGN is going to help you digest all that info with Gamescom Daily Show, where you can get all the daily highlights and a late night show experience from gamers for gamers. Back to you, Jeff.
Thank you very much, Sid. And by the way, congratulations to Don't Nod for Tell Me Why, a really important game that is out now that you can play on Xbox and Game Pass. And as we know, there's a lot going on in the world, and that goes beyond the pandemic. Between social conflicts we're seeing in the news and acts of nature, we can see how vulnerable we as people can sometimes be. And now I think it's as important time as ever to remember to come together and support one another. We are a global gaming community. There are millions of people watching tonight, and I know we're all here because we love games, and we know that games are good in the world and can bring us together, and I think we've all felt that in 2020. So I think that's really important to remember amongst all the games and trailers. All right, well, one way as a community we can come together to do some good is the Gamescom Forest. Gamescom has launched a reforestation project by planting a Gamescom forest together with the community. Gamers worldwide can go to gamescom.global and donate to plant more trees. So let's plant a forest together. All right, well, now we're going to move on to another game. This one was announced back in May. Chorus is a dark space combat shooter where players take control of Nara on a quest to destroy the dark cult that created her, featuring rich, ray-traced 4K 60 FPS environments on next-gen hardware. Here is the first look at gameplay from Chorus.
I'm actually pretty into this game, so let's see this.
You have broken my heart. For your betrayal, you will be broken.
Oh, is this the one where the ship is like also kind of a person?
Yeah. Yeah, it's sentient.
Like, well, if Squadrons is a complete failure, I have another space dogfighting game to look forward to.
I'm more excited about this one, honestly.
Yeah, maybe me too, actually.
How many crowns have you won?
It's
if
time.
One game has defined the summer of 2020, it absolutely is Fall Guys from Mediatonic in London and Devolver. This game is setting records and putting a much-needed smile on everyone's face. Fall Guys, I think, represents our industry at its absolute best. Well, soon the Fall Guys experience will evolve with Season 2. There's a lot of new stuff coming, and tonight, Mediatonic is about to give you an exclusive sneak peek at what's next. Get ready. I think the internet is about to freak out. Here it is, Fall Guys Season 2.
More guys,
hey,
more
I'm
followers.
Joe. I'm the lead game designer on Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, and I just want to reach out and say thank you to everyone who's been playing and enjoying the game so far. As a team, we've been looking at all the fan arts, the memes, and the montages that people have been posting online, and the response to the game has really blown us away. Today, we just wanted to give everyone their first sneak peek at the rounds and the costumes that they can be enjoying as part of Fall Guys Season 2.
In Season 2, you'll be dressing your Fall Guy as a medieval hero and competing across brand new rounds inspired by epic quests from the Middle Ages. Traverse giant drawbridges, dodge swinging axes, and scale movable siege ramps in the quest for ultimate game show glory.
Oh, the Viking one looked cool.
I like the witch.
Yeah, I want all these costumes.
Yeah, for sure.
The dragon,
this is great.
the knight, I want everything.
The dragon's cool. These levels look fun.
Oh, I have so many issues trying to go through those giant hoops though.
We're still adding the finishing touches to development, but if you want to stay up to date, then at Fall Guys Game on Twitter is where you want to be. See you on the start line.
Great.
Oh
Great
man,
work.
So much build up, and we got about 15 seconds of gameplay at the end.
We have half an hour left. Oh man.
And he's afraid to close his fist. I am not.
His truth is marching.
Liberty's got more brains and cunning than both her brothers put together. She's the only one who could actually run Colorado. She's already tried once.
Vic's a depraved child, and Val's a brain without a spine. The years my father wasted grooming them for glory when I was right there. Back to Arizona, Rangers, and I'll pretend none of this happened.
Arizona?
Stay and die alone.
Is that what it looks like outside right now?
Yeah, that's Arizona's always snowing. That's our biggest thing.
For gaming at
Always.
this time, because my appreciation for gaming before couldn't be higher.
Com certeza, jogos multiplayer preenchem completamente a conexão social que eu preciso ter com outras pessoas nesses tempos de isolamento. E é o mais próximo que a gente pode ter de experiências reais com pessoas que estão longe da gente.
You get to travel all over the world in games, which is something I've always taken for granted. At the moment I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima, and you know, I kind of prefer it to the real Japan just because I've heard that in real life they don't let you run around with katanas.
I appreciate games a lot more than films, music, or whatever, and it's just fine for me to have the time to play with friends or even with my family, to have a lot of fun.
I've been mostly at home with small children, and gaming is the only thing that I get to do for myself anymore. I find it's not only an escape, it's also a way to challenge my brain.
Gaming is becoming clearly more important for a lot of people. You know, play is a natural instinct, and from Animal Crossing to The Last of Us Part 2 or Ori, yes, it's definitely an incredible time now to be a gamer, yes.
Hey everyone, I'm Vince Sampella, head of Respawn Entertainment. When we set out to create Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, we knew we wanted to bring the series back to its roots. The Medal of Honor franchise is known for its powerful and exciting single-player stories that put the player in the boots of a soldier who was there. It's a series that is grounded in history, which tells emotionally authentic stories. Peter Hirschman, who directed the original Medal of Honor in 1999, is back at the helm of this project. You'll hear more from him in just a bit. Peter and I actually worked together on Medal of Honor Allied Assault in 2002, and I'm really happy he's joined us at Respawn to craft a completely new experience in VR. The team is creating a riveting and emotional journey through World War II like you've never seen or played. It weaves in the personal stories of the veterans and survivors of the war through powerful interviews that help set the stage for what players will experience. It's more than just a game. And we could not be more excited to show the world the next look at Medal of Honor Above and Beyond and the game's action-packed story. Let's take a look.
Adding interviews in the game? Bold move.
I know this is the first time some of you will see combat. I know you're scared. Let me be clear with all of you. I'm scared too.
Welcome to France, gentlemen. I lead the local resistance cell. Something big is happening inside Gestapo headquarters, and we don't know what it is.
We're gonna have to improvise here.
I really want a secret door that opens by piano.
Members of the Resistance are perhaps the bravest people fighting in this war. But you really should stop. There is no future in it.
Sorry to interrupt, Lieutenant.
It's so funny when you see he doesn't have any arms. It's just hands and cuffs.
It makes more sense in VR, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get you.
For sure.
Jet fighters, brace yourselves.
This looks fun though. This is the kind of thing I would happily blow through one evening.
Oh yeah. Easy.
Like I said, boom.
I bet it gets pretty intense. Like, it looks a little cartoonish and silly, but I bet in VR this is... Yeah.
I'm willing to sacrifice myself for.
Yeah, it's ever so slightly stylized, right? They're not going for a absolute photorealistic look.
Because you can't
Somehow
right now.
this motley crew has been tasked with saving civilization. God help us all.
I think it's a good move. You know, Medal of Honor's it's had some rough patches, so I think this is quite an interesting way to bring it back, and it kind of takes off some of the pressure a bit too. It doesn't have to be the next Call of Duty for EA. It's something different. So I'm
I like
happy.
that.
Thank you so much, Vince. That looks incredible. And now we're here with Respawn Entertainment's Peter Hirschman, game director on Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, to talk more about their new VR experience. Peter, I got to say, the trailer really grabbed me. Such an incredible story that you're telling to. Tell us a bit about this single-player experience. What can we expect?
Well, Jeff, thank you for having us on the show. I'm representing a whole team back at Respawn that's been working really hard on this, and it's so exciting to premiere the trailer.
I would
with
say
you.
it's above and beyond.
Metal Gear, going back to its roots, was always about putting the player in the boots of a soldier fighting in World War II. And with VR, we're able to do that in almost a literal way. It's definitely the most immersive experience, most immersive combat experience I've ever been able to work on. And the story follows you as a player being recruited into the Office of Strategic Services, commonly known as the OSS. And their mission was sabotage, espionage, search and rescue, everything in between. You name it, they did it. And they're known by a different set of initials now, the CIA. But during World War II, they sent operatives all over Europe, deep behind enemy lines. And that allows us to tell a story where you get to go to these places and locations and participate in events that really helped shape the outcome of the war.
One of the things I love about the trailer is you can tell there's a lot of interactivity in the environment, emergent gameplay. You got the piano and other things in there. Tell us a bit about how you're using that to tell the story. It seems like it's all kind of through a first-person perspective, but there are some story sequences. How do you tell the story?
Oh, well, we shot over 120 pages of narrative, which is more than some feature films. We had a huge international cast of phenomenal actors. And it was fantastic. And the story follows a classic three-act structure. Act one is working with the French resistance, getting ready for the invasion. Act two is D-Day itself and the fight to get to Berlin. And then the third act is dealing with the Nazi secret weapon program, which involved things like the 262 jet and the V-2 rocket and things that could have really turned the tide of the war if we hadn't stopped them. So you get to go on this journey, this story. And the story is shot all from your perspective. Because it's VR, your head is the camera. We don't have cutscenes. We don't have edits. Everything revolves around your perspective. So you experience this story completely in first person as if you are there. So it creates a much more intimate and emotional connection with the characters and the things going on around you. It was an incredible way to shoot. One of our animators stood in for the player throughout the 3 weeks that we were on stage. And all the actors are always reacting and talking to you directly. And in VR, it's such a powerful thing. It's all about building that emotional connection, and it just makes the experience all the more authentic.
Well, you and Vince, I know this series is really close to your heart, and I'm like, wow, there's so much there to experience. It looks really rich and detailed, obviously authentic as well. Paying tribute to everyone that was involved in the war. I wanted to ask you also about multiplayer, which is something that Respawn is really known for, and you've had a great single player experience. But I hear you might also be doing MP too.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, the thing about VR is that, I've spent we've known each other a long time. So much of your career trying to map natural human movements to a controller, and just figuring out things like making it feel good. And one of the hardest ones is leaning. And in VR, you know how you duck, you just duck. And how you lean in VR, you just lean. And so the ability to lean around a corner, just kind of peek around the corner and see where the bad guy is just, it heightens the tension so much. It makes it feel all the more real. And when you put that into a multiplayer experience, it just raises it to a whole nother level. So we are shipping, in addition to the campaign, we are shipping a full suite of VR modes, including a few that you can only do in VR. And we're really excited about people playing those, after it comes out.
Wow. Well, definitely a full-blown VR experience. I got to say, I'm really excited to put the headset on and try this. And it's coming out later this year, right?
Coming out holiday. So, fasten your seatbelts. We are so excited to bring it to players. We've been working on it a long time. Like you mentioned, it's a passion project for Vince and I and everyone at Respawn. It's a wonderful full circle experience for a lot of us that started our careers working on those original set, going back first one and Allied Assault, and now to be able to bring Above and Beyond to a whole new generation is one of the most exciting things we've been involved with.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Peter. Opening Night Live will be right back. And in the meantime, here's a look at a new game that is launching tonight.
Always want more AAA VR games. So happy to see it.
Fractured by the VR is sticking around.
Said they would protect us from. Spellstorms still rage across the ruins of the Hollowlands. This is proof, they said. It isn't safe. It can't be controlled. Magic cannot be used.
That's cool. This reminds me a little bit of Breath of the Wild's art style.
Mm-hmm. So pretty.
I have broken my vow, and now I fight to break free.
Whoa.
Love that music.
What a musical shift.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I'm in a shonen anime.
Exactly, it's great.
Spellbreak. It seemed kind of like an arena brawler, but definitely competitive.
team-based, maybe?
Oh, free to play.
For free.
Console, and I saw the Epic Game Store on the bottom as well. Yeah, I was quite into that. Give it a shot, especially if it's free.
It's just an ad for Game Pass now? That's fine. I thought it was like a flight simulator ad. I'm always down for more flight sim.
Man, Game Pass is so good now. It's crazy. Every time I think about it, I'm just like... I'm so amazed.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
It's like the best deal in gaming, pretty much.
I know, it's like they say it in the ad, the best deal, but like, yeah.
It really is.
It kind of is, man.
And if you're on Ultimate, right, you get xCloud too. At this point.
Exactly. Yeah, they just rolled that out. Unless you're on iOS.
Oh man.
Read all about it on Engadget.com, folks.
The Pandora's box.
Yeah, Microsoft is in a pretty good place, software-wise, heading into the next generation. They have the subscription models, they got the games, they got xCloud.
We'll just not talk about Halo today, right?
Oh my god.
But otherwise they're in a pretty good place.
I agree with that, that's true. That's a big mark against it.
So many great games in Xbox Game Pass, and many of tonight's
Someone
games
get
are in
this
it
guy
as
a
well.
chair.
Every year at Gamescom, we like to highlight some incredible games made in Germany. And tonight, we have a special announcement about one of the most legendary German games of all time, created by Factor 5. Enjoy.
This is the most legendary game made in Germany. I can't say I know.
アミガのサウンドそのものも素晴らしいと思いましたね。日本じゃ本当に聞いたことがなかった音楽でした。
Factor 5 was so far ahead of the curve, and each of their games pushed game technology as far as possible. I'd say they're one of the greatest indie developers of all time.
サウンドはすごいわ、グラフィックは綺麗だわ、ゲームプレイも滑らかで満足いくものだわで、本当にすごかった。今回タリカンのコレクションが出るってことをとても嬉しく思っているし、これはまた当時みたいにみんなに見せて歩きたいなと思っています。
This was the first game that allowed me to completely fulfill my musical vision. It defined my career, and the fans have been there ever since. To this day, it's one of my proudest works.
Turrican? Turrican?
Turrican. Now we know.
I'll put my hands up and say I am not familiar with that franchise.
Not me, yeah.
In June, Bungie revealed a new era of Destiny 2 that starts on November 10th with Beyond Light. For the first time ever, Guardians will add a new elemental power to their arsenal, the dark power of Stasis. With Stasis, players will take on the powers of darkness to control and dominate the battle. Here's an all-new look at Stasis from Destiny 2 Beyond Light.
Sweet. Destiny's always fun to look at.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
It is.
Just their entire art team is just always killing it.
The darkness is here. As you step away from the light, we need only look inward. Focus your power. Let it grow. Our fight is far from over.
I'm always like on the verge of giving it another go because so much of it is free to play now.
Not a bad idea.
It's just such an investment though, I can't do it.
True. It does look great though. This is working on me.
Let them come. This is their fate. One after another.
And I feel like for them, the longer it takes for Halo to come out, it's kind of the better for them.
Yeah, of course.
Destiny has always had some PvP stuff as well, which are, again, it just helps if Halo it doesn't exist.
Yep.
It looks good.
Looks like Destiny. Great work.
Tonight, and that is best Sony PlayStation game. So, without further ado, the winner is Cyberpunk 2077. Congratulations.
I'm so confused by this award. That game is not out.
I announced tonight. So check out the Gamescom Awards user voting, where you can vote for your favorite streamer, Gamescom's Most Wanted, and Best of Gamescom. The winners will be revealed at Gamescom Best of Show, along with cool cosplayers, esports, and more. So tune in on Sunday, August 30th at 8 p.m. Central European Time to see the grand finale of this year's Gamescom, where we give gamers the stage. That's it for me tonight, but before I turn it back to Jeff, I just want to say that I hope everyone out there is staying safe and healthy. We're all in this together, so take care. Back to you, Jeff.
Indeed.
Thank you very much, Sydney, and it's great to have you on the show again this year. All right, well, a lot of people have been wondering, what will the next generation of gaming feel like? How will it be different? What is that generational difference? Well, back in June, we saw the announcement of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart from Insomniac Games, a title which uses the power of PlayStation 5, the SSD hard drive, and the DualSense controller to create an experience that Insomniac says is only possible on brand new hardware. Well, now it's time for you to decide if you see the difference. Here's an extended, uninterrupted demo of live PlayStation 5 gameplay of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Enjoy.
I'm excited.
How fast can this game be?
We're back. And not far from where we last saw him. We may still have time to put a stop to this.
Hey, I think I found the Wombat!
Oh dear.
Let's show him how it's done. All right, bringing out the big guns. Feels good to be back in action.
Of course, this is a vertical slice, but this is a game that looks ready.
It is, yeah, well, yeah, seems like it, for sure.
Like probably the most polished gameplay we've seen so far.
Have we seen any other, like, actual gameplay? I honestly don't know.
Yeah, you could say there were bits from Squadrons, right, and that sort of thing.
Sure.
I've been looking everywhere for you.
Put down the Dimensionator, Nefarious.
Put down the Dimensionator. Yeah, right. Today I
come, everything you see will be mine. Say goodbye. What did you do?
Oh my word.
What'd you do?
Giant dinosaurs.
Hitting Nefarious' device seems to have destabilized reality.
The bridge is shot. There has to be another way across.
The rifts appeared to react to your device. Try pointing it at one of them. That was rather
That's fun. That looks like a really cool mechanic once you get the, like, you know, string them together really fast.
This is worse than I had imagined.
Everyone look! It's Ratchet and Clank!
Sand sharks from above.
There's a lot happening.
Yeah, right? So much destruction.
Yeah.
I like the comedy though. Like the Lego games, they strike a really good balance between
Or at least a very large octopus.
having really fun jokes, but not to the point where they get tiresome or cringy.
Right.
I will never get used to that.
Hey, at least we're on the same planet this time. Nefarious is on the other side of that building. Let's get moving before he does anything else to break reality.
Did Dr. Nefarious really resurface after all these just to try and...
Man, you really just kind of shoot everywhere in this game, huh?
And strafing is like massive. You just always strafe left and right.
That's what I'm afraid of. Can't wait to see what's new.
The way they're using it here, it's almost like short-range teleportation, right? Like, when you grab it, you're pretty much moving instantly to that spot. You're not going somewhere completely different, right?
Like, yeah, the mechanic isn't that complicated. They've just made it visually look like you're pulling the whole, like, world toward you.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is just a teleportation, yeah, for
Have
sure.
to get the Dimensionator away from Nefarious.
These bits are so cool, though.
I love it. Did you play Sunset Overdrive?
No, but I've heard people say it's one of those sort of underrated gems of
Definitely.
this era.
It's good.
Well, it is certainly not good.
Beats me.
This is a cool environment.
It's crazy. We get to see the other protagonist. sadness now. There's like another Lombax that we saw before.
Ratchet. We are too late. Ratchet?
Who? Oh, that's all we know still. Cool.
PlayStation.
Looks good though. I want to play that for sure.
Yeah, like you said, looked really polished. Yeah.
There you have it, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and now I am joined by Marcus Smith and Mike Daly from Insomniac Games. Guys, it was so great to see that long, uninterrupted demo of Rift Apart, and I have so many questions. It's amazing to see what you're doing with the power of PS5 and the SSD. Let me ask you first, Marcus, what are you able to do with Rift Apart that you haven't been able to do before in a Ratchet game because of the power of PS5?
I mean, first and foremost, it's just pure horsepower enables us to fill our worlds with the kind of density and life that we've never been able to do before. More importantly, perhaps, though, is the dimensional shifting that we have going on, which uses the SSD that allows us to fling the player from planet to planet to planet lightning fast, like in way, way faster than anything we've ever been able to do before.
Yeah, the Rift tether, we saw that in the demo. We had seen some of that in the trailer. So that's all actual gameplay. Mike, I'm curious, like how does that work as you kind of play through the game? Are there certain moments and levels where you can jump, or how do you play through that?
Yeah, so in the game, there is dimensional damage spread throughout the galaxy that Ratchet & Clank have to find a way to fix. And you can find these weak points in space-time that you can pull to you with your Rift tether. It's like being able to lasso a portal. And that enables you to basically like warp across the world to find new places to discover or gain a tactical advantage in combat.
Wow, yeah, I got to say, like when you see that and you imagine the jumping from multiple worlds at instantaneously almost, and it sounds like there's no load screens throughout the entire game.
That's right. We're going seamless.
That's right. Yep.
Wow. All right. You bite. So confident, both of you say it. I like it. Now, let me ask you about DualSense. That's something that is a big part of PS5. I've had a chance to hands-on with the controller, with the adaptive triggers and the haptics. How are you using that to sort of impact the gameplay of Rift Apart?
So at the heart of every Ratchet & Clank game is a powerful arsenal of weapons that just exude a ton of personality. And the DualSense is sort of like, it feels like it was made for Ratchet & Clank just because the haptics give us a whole new layer for the weapons to express themselves. So for example, your burst pistol, of course it gives you like a satisfying click or kick with every bullet. But when you throw the Shatter Bomb, you can actually feel the energy pulsing off the grenade fade away as it gets further apart from you. Basically, the haptics are expressive enough that every weapon feels different and you can tell what you're holding. But of course, the adaptive trigger like takes that to a functional level where, in addition to the trigger pull feeling unique, we can actually use that as a super intuitive way to add alternate functions to the weapons. So, for example, in the demo, we've got the Enforcer, which is a double-barreled shotgun. You can pull the trigger part of the way down until you hit resistance to fire a single barrel. And then whenever you feel like it's the right time, pull it the rest of the way for a double shot. So you might be swarmed by a bunch of little enemies. You only want to waste one shot on them, and then wait a minute for even more to swarm in before finishing them off. But a big guy, you probably want to just give both barrels to right away. So there's a nice intuitive way of basically raising the skill ceiling and giving you more ways to play better.
Wow. No, I'm
really
excited to see how you guys are going to roll that out across what I'm sure are an insane, group of weapons as always. Plot-wise, Marcus, tell us a bit about this game. I think some fans have wondered, does this tie into the movie plot line, the game plot line? Like how it would tell us in the Ratchet-verse where this sits.
Yeah. Well, canonically, this is an extension of Ratchet & Clank Into the Nexus, the 2013 game. But it's a standalone adventure. So it's one that, even if you've never played a Ratchet & Clank game, you can get into it and you'll understand it and you'll enjoy it. For hardcore fans, we have a lot of nods. You're gonna see a lot of returning characters and planets and see them all through a whole new light of multiple dimensionality.
Yeah, no, this Rift Tether thing I think looks really exciting. And how often, like, is that something we saw in the demo? Is that something you're going to see like frequently in the game? Are there special moments? Like, I guess I'm curious, like, how often you use that technique for gameplay.
So the Rift Tether has created these anomalies all throughout the galaxy. You'll encounter those pretty often. There's even a few more types of dimensional damage you'll encounter that we haven't shown yet.
Okay.
Now, being pulled between worlds, that's localized to chasing after Dr. Nefarious in the demo. And that's sort of reserved for special moments when you really have to, when the dimensional damage really tears wide open.
Well, I got to say, it looks incredible. And then at the end, we got another tease of this female Lombax. I know you guys have confirmed she is playable in parts of the game. I think everyone wants to know, though, do we have a name for her?
I mean, the world is more interesting with mysteries, and we're going to have to keep this one a little longer.
Do we get a number of letters in her name or anything?
Too many smart people on the internet. They'll figure it out right away.
She's not named Abby, though, right? All right, well, we'll have to wait and see what you guys have in store for us. I got to say, I mean, it looks incredible. The Ratchet games are always so much fun. And as you said, when you think of the power of SSD and the DualSense all coming together, it looks really exciting. Before we go, though, I think everyone around the world wants to know when we're going to get to play this game. Anything you can share with us on where you're at in development right now?
Mike?
So Ratchet & Clank is coming out in the PS5 launch window. So we haven't announced a specific release date yet, so stay tuned for that.
What kind of window? Is it big windows? No, I'm just kidding. All right, that's all we're going to get, I'm sure. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart coming in the launch window for PlayStation 5. I got to say, Insomniac, we're so excited what you guys are doing across PlayStation, and the game looks incredible. So thank you so much for all you've done, and we look forward to seeing more of Rift Apart soon.
Thanks, Jeff. Take
You
care.
can get it out before Christmas. That's a pretty big launch game, I think, for the system.
At Ratchet & Clank or PlayStation 5, and that's going to do it for Opening Night Live. Thank you so much for watching from around the world, and make sure to stay tuned all weekend for more live Gamescom coverage at Gamescom.global. As for us, we'll see you later this year for the Game Awards 2020. Our team is hard at work to build a very special live show for you coming in December. We'll see you then. Good night.
Bye, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. You can go to bed now. Please get that man a chair. He's been standing.
We'll leave him to his room of screens.
He has comfy shoes on, at least. They look really, really cool. Yeah. Oh, we did it, Nick.
All right, 2 hours of gaming goodness.
Well, okay, we were promised 2 hours of gaming goodness. We got, I think, maybe a solid hour of new stuff, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a mix, right? I mean, when they announced the Ratchet & Clank was going to be part of this show, then of course you suddenly want to leap forward and say, oh, might there be a few sort of PS5 first-party games shown at this kind of show? But it's like, no, that was really their big announcement for, or their big gameplay reveal showing for this particular event, right? So that was pretty much it on that side of things. We didn't have Nintendo. There wasn't really a big sort of first-party Microsoft showing, but even so, I think there was a pretty good mix of third-party stuff in there, right? Like it was, we had a representation from a lot of different publishers.
Absolutely, and it was big publishers, it was small publishers. We had a few, like a real emphasis on like Warhammer and some of these games that don't necessarily get a lot of time in the spotlight at these shows. Gamescom highlights some of these games like that. So we started though with like, you know, heavy hitters like COD Blobs. We were talking about Cold War, the new Black Ops, which looks like Call of Duty.
We didn't really see gameplay though, right? It was mostly this CG cutscene explaining about how they're sort of trying to persuading to get the green light in order to go into the field and take on this mission. I mean, you obviously have far more experience of this than I do, having just written about it. Did what they showed change your feelings about it at all, or was it kind of what you expected based on kind of what you've seen and heard and that sort of thing?
So this was actually the same segment of the game that they showed us. They showed us a few segments, so this is the same one that they showed us. So I saw, Reagan, and I love the ambiance that they're creating of this whole espionage 80s story. It's definitely populated by a lot of, white dudes, as a story about power in the 80s will be. But I thought it was interesting that, like, Call of Duty is really focusing on this storyline around that's all about, conspiracy theory and how propaganda and disinformation can really, turn the tide and put people in power that maybe shouldn't be.
Right,
So
which
they made
feels
a game.
oddly relevant right now, right?
Isn't it? Yeah, and that's kind of what they're saying. But then they're making a game that's based on a literal conspiracy theory, and it's based on this whole Perseus storyline, and it's very funny. Call of Duty again is like, it's about the multiplayer. This is all campaign stuff. It looks great. It's going to be highly polished, high quality, because it's Call of Duty.
They are in this interesting place, right, where they have these various kind of SKUs of Call of Duty. The fact that they have this, this kind of 3 studio rotation every year. And there are these stories and these characters, like they mentioned, that some people love them. Like they follow the stories, they know about each universe, and they really look forward to sort of seeing the return of those characters again. And then, on the other side, as you mentioned, right, you have this absolute juggernaut multiplayer side of things. And now Warzone, right, which is always kind of be a part of every new COD game, and they've said it's going to sort of weave in and out and be tied to it. So it's always interesting to see a campaign tease, because it kind of reminds you, right, that it's like, oh, right, yeah, of course, Call of Duty does have a single player as well. Every so often they skip it, like Black Ops 4, but campaign is a thing.
Mm-hmm. And they put a lot of effort into it. They really do. Like they don't throw it away. So that's why I take pleasure in picking apart all the lofty things they're trying to do, because hey, you're going to put the time in.
Yeah, I gotta say as well, just looking at this footage, the faces look incredible as well.
Don't they? Like Reagan doesn't look ridiculous, which would be so easy to do. So I think that's an achievement. They've really done some good work there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, really good faces. Well, as we've mentioned, you've written about this, right? So if people want to find out more, please do check out your stuff, because it's good.
Good stuff. But we had like Doom Eternal. We saw more of that. The expansion. I think we got a date for that. I don't quite remember what it was. 10/20/20 actually.
It was kind of cool to see that there was, it seemed to be like water played quite a big part of the expansion. And, so much of what Doom is based around is Mars, right? And going to a very sort of fiery planets. It feels like it's always the sort of, the kind of fiery rings of hell apocalypse. So to kind of have a bit of a kind of aquatic theme mixed in there was different. It's cool. I'm down for it. I think, people kind of know what they're expecting from Doom DLC, and nothing that they showed seemed to be really contrary to that, right? It's, if you like this game, you're getting more of it.
Definitely. Yeah, it looked like Doom. It looked fun. I'm excited about it. Yeah, for sure.
Nice. We had a whole bunch of Star Wars stuff as well. I don't know kind of where you sit on the Star Wars scale, if you're sick of it or if you're always kind of clamoring for more of it. But we had a few different Star Wars announcements or showings at least.
Yeah, Squadrons, which looks great. Like I'm very middle of the road Star Wars, take it or leave it. Story's great, but I'm not like a mega fan. But Squadrons definitely looks fun. I mean, that's what I want to be doing when I'm in that world, is just flying throughout the galaxy, shooting things, trying to survive. That's the dream. So it makes sense to me.
Yeah, the bits that I played in Battlefront 2, it always felt like there was that tease of, what if they put everything into this, right? What if they really blew this mode out? And that's kind of what they've done here. And, like we mentioned a little later with Medal of Honor, it's so cool to see a gamer. They say it's fully playable in VR. So if you're one of those people that have invested in a headset, it's like, this needs to be at the top of your most anticipated list, because it's not that often you get a game where they say, from start to finish, you can be in the headset. So really, really cool to see them promise that. I don't know if I will play the whole thing like that. It depends how difficult it is. But every time I see gameplay, I think, cool, I just can't wait to strap on a PSVR and get stuck in.
It's nice just having the option. That's really what it's about, right? Like Hitman, they're going to have the whole like Hitman series basically playable in VR. Like, that's great stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely another one. Hitman 3 is going to be huge next year.
It is. But Star Wars, we had a little taste of it in a place we didn't expect, The Sims.
Yeah, that was when they built up to it. I thought they were going to talk about. There has been confirmed that they're going to be doing a new sort of VR game based around the theme park attraction. Is it called Galaxy's Edge? I think it's called.
Yeah.
They're going to do a sort of VR game based around the stories they tell in the theme park. And I thought that's what they were building towards. And it was funny that it just basically jump cut to hard turned into The Sims instead. And I was like, whoa, that's not what I was expecting at all. But it looked really cool, actually. The more I see it, the more I'm into it.
Yeah, I mean, it was so funny because he said it with such a straight face. It was like building up, you're right, to something. And then it was like, and it's The Sims. And just totally straight face. Yep, it's The Sims. Of course it was. But I love it. Yeah, you can basically recreate the entire cantina in your as your house. That's awesome. I love stuff like that. That's what you want to do in a game like The Sims. So I'm all for it.
I want to know how far I can push it. Can I just have a family of Wookiees, for instance? Can I just have a house just full of Wookiees and then they go to work and they live and no one questions it? I want to know sort of how far I can push this in terms of how much it affects other parts of The Sims.
Perfect. Well, we'll have to get our hands on it, and our entire review of it will be based on how many Wookiees we can establish in the world. Mm-hmm. I like this.
For that, or The Sims put out it was a kind of eco-living sort of minimalism expansion not too long ago. Well, I want to be Kylo Ren in just extremely minimalist and sort of, just the odd flower pot in a corner of the room sort of apartment where he tries to figure himself out and find his way in life. I want to do that as well.
Very good. I can't imagine him dusting though. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. That's okay.
Anyway.
Okay. And so the big thing, the big game of the day was Fall Guys. Just because it's the biggest game. Yeah. The biggest game that we actually had. Dude, there was actual news about it. There was actual new footage, and they had the developers on. This was actually what I was expecting a lot out of all of these games, actual news.
Yeah.
But it was great to see. Fall Guys looks great. Looks like they're expanding it exactly the way that everyone would want. It's just sillier, funnier, medieval environment. What more could you want?
Do you think it's enough to kind of keep this momentum going, or do you sort of look at this and think, oh, this will be fun for, I'll play this for a week and then, I might move off it kind of thing? Where does your hype level kind of sit when you start looking at a trailer like this now?
Well, I'm thinking it's reminding me a lot of Fortnite and a lot of these living games that we see updates rolling out and new skins literally all the time. But those are from huge studios who have a lot of manpower and just scheduled drops coming out. I have no idea what Mediatonic, what their capability to create new content like this is. This came out quickly, it seems like. But I don't know if they just kind of had this waiting. I think if they can keep up with demand, if they can keep releasing new skins and new levels, they could keep making money off of this game for a while. Yeah.
You imagine they must be hiring up massively at the moment, right? Just to try and
why not
churn out the stuff out. The cool thing for me is, the thing I'm worried about now as I start playing more of Fall Guys, even though there is this kind of random nature to it and it's impossible to kind of master it completely, the more you play it, the more you realize that people are starting to suss out the kind of optimal routes for each course, and I'm kind of getting really good at it. And so my worry is that eventually it's going to be too hard for me to get through the first round, right? So my hope is that when I see something like this, I think, well, if I jump in as soon as one of these new seasons comes out, everyone's back at square one again. They haven't played through the courses before. They're not, they haven't practiced them a million times. So I want to play it at least on that first day, if not that first week, just because I know the playing field is going to be really even again, and it's going to be even more chaotic than it usually is.
Absolutely. No, you're right. And I think that'll be a good, balancing moment for everyone. You're right, because everyone's learning all the secrets and all the tricks of these levels. Yeah.
Towards the end, another VR title, we got to see more of Medal of Honor, and for me, that's the most I've seen of that game. I think one of our colleagues actually, Andy, has seen and possibly played a little bit of it. But yeah, that was probably the biggest showing that I can recall for that. And I thought it was a really interesting approach. We talked about how it's realistic, but not too realistic. They are being a little bit playful, right? There's a bit of personality in there.
It's almost like, a little extra rounded, a little cartoonish, just like there's some softness to the art style where it's not totally just like trying to be realistic, right? Hey, maybe that's just the limits of VR right now. Maybe they just did that because they had to.
Yeah.
But I think it works. The story itself is going to be pretty heavy. It's a story about war. So, I think that's just fine.
But they seem to pick some cool moments. The fact that you get to jump out of a plane, do that kind of first parachute drop, all of that sort of stuff. When I see that, I think, oh, yeah, that's really fun to do in VR, right? Mm-hmm. To be from that first person perspective, to be in one of those U-boats, going up onto the beach. That's something I remember from Allied Assault, which is, a game they name dropped quite a lot as being, their sort of heritage and what they want to bring back. So to see that, it's like, it'll feel totally different when, from your perspective, you are inside the boat, looking left and right, to see all of your comrades feeling nervous, all that kind of stuff. So I'm really keen to get stuck in with that. And they said it's like a full 3-act structure sort of game, but for me, if it's a night or a kind of a weekend type experience, that's perfect. I want something that I can get in and get out within quite a short space of time and really enjoy, like a movie.
And have a full experience with that. That's great. Yeah.
Cool. We saw Destiny. Some more Destiny, right?
Destiny.
Looks very pretty. Lots of service games.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, there were
Warframe
a lot of
as well. Another service game.
World of Warcraft animated. We watched.
Oh man, we have to talk about that cartoon. What was
it a
that?
cartoon? What do we call it?
I think they are calling it an animated series. It is technically animated, but just a weird inclusion to have in the show. I think very strange given how long it is and how they know that even though there's a big community behind World of Warcraft, it's not what everyone wants to be watching.
Mm-mm. It's a tough sell for an audience that isn't into that or expecting it. Like this, it's a lot of lore. It's a lot of caring about these characters that are established in a world that is very complex and deep. And it's a tough sell. But of course, I mean, it looks fine.
In their defense, I went to Gamescom once, and I forget for which expansion it was, but they converted an entire bar into a World of Warcraft themed bar. And let me tell you, the entire town went absolutely ballistic for it. It was like one of the biggest things of the show. So World of Warcraft is big, and it has its fans. So, if you're going to show it at any convention, Gamescom is probably the one. It's probably the one.
No, this is the one. You're right. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Sure. One other big one I want to put up real quick. We got to see a bit of Mafia. It was very cinematic. It wasn't. I think they showed the odd driving sequence that looked like it was gameplay, but for the most part, it was very cinematic. Did that change at all your kind of interest and hype levels in that?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, just hearing like all the accents and the voice acting, and then seeing it paired with the upgraded visuals, like really puts you in that time period. It feels really special and something we don't get to live in a lot in video games. I guess you're right. Like what LA Noire would be the closest proxy I could think of right now, but
which was flawed, but a game I still really loved, kind of for what it was. Yes. Again, just for the time period. It's just not often you get to explore sort of Prohibition, post-war America, right? And just to see it, how rich the detail was and the environments. I was just happy to drive around, and it'll be the same thing with Mafia. If the level of detail is there, for me, that's most of the sell. Like I want to go through the story and everything, but just to kind of be in that time period and that location is really appealing to me.
Oh yeah, it looks really cool, and I think they're doing some good work with the upgrade. It's cool.
Yeah, so no, definitely down for that as well. I have to tip my hat to you and say that you were correct in that we didn't get an Xbox reveal. Maybe I was trying to convince myself on it, but you were right. No Xbox.
It was all worth it just to be right. Thank you for saying that.
So do you think they will have a dedicated show for it, or do you think it'll just be dropped in a blog post? Like when do you think we're going to hear about this thing? They have another console to show. Everyone knows about it now.
Well, we still need a release date. We still have a lot of reveals coming up. Have we seen the Series X?
Yeah. So we've seen the Black Tower, and
Oh,
Microsoft
you're right.
has confirmed
the Cube.
November. November is the window that we have for Series X at the moment.
Okay, so we've seen that. It's been a while. It's been a very busy year of gaming news. But no, I think there's still plenty of room for Microsoft to have its own show, or to Sony too. Yeah, they're not going to share that news with people if they don't have to, like extra third parties.
But it's funny because what I was thinking though, right, was I'm not sure if you remember this, but there's been all these controller leaks, right, which reference the Series S. Like someone bought an Xbox controller, a new Xbox controller in Chicago or wherever it was, that has Series S written on it. So I kind of wondered if they might look at that and say, okay, let's kind of get out ahead of the leaks and announce the second system. But apparently they're not that bothered about it right now.
I wonder if like there's some emergent form of advertising that's bubbling up right now, because maybe it won't be a live stream, maybe it won't be a random like ARG or something, maybe it'll be something new. We'll have this like sudden reveal, or I don't know.
It just feels like we're getting so close. It's coming so far down to the wire, and I don't know if Microsoft and Sony are playing chicken or what's going on, but I just feel like we should know about these things by now, shouldn't we? We should at least have a price for one of them. Yeah.
No, I agree. It's weird that we don't know much about these consoles, and it is, you're right, very close to holiday season when they should be coming out. Like, this is why rumors are starting to pop up about, like, are they going to be delayed? Everyone's getting a little worried because, yes, this is different. This is new.
Well, I think we've gone through an awful lot. Oh, one other thing I have to mention before we head out was we had Doc Brown show up to advertise Surgeon Simulator. That was like the most unexpected cameo on a show like this.
That was awesome. Like, first of all, why? Second of all, thank you. That was great. I appreciated it, and it was very fun and very silly and didn't make much sense. But I mean, doesn't need to. That's fine.
For a split second, did you think we were getting a new Back to the Future like adventure game or something?
Of course. Everyone did, I think. Yeah.
I was thinking that. I was like, I wonder if you could do some kind of remake, right? Like, I know that studio isn't really around anymore, but I don't know. Like, would there be a way to bring it back? But no.
I think there's always a way. Yeah.
Anyway, but talking of cool VR stuff, right? Such as Surgeon Simulator.
There it is. Yes, Surgeon Simulator, always fun.
All right, maybe VR was the winner this evening. Yeah.
I think so. Weirdly, good job, VR.
All right, well, I think that about wraps it up for me. Jess, is there anything you want to add before we head out of here?
No, that was quite a show. Not exactly what we expected, but happy to share it with you, Nick.
Thank you. The feeling is mutual, and I would say it was quite a good. We've seen so many of these sort of virtual shows now, but this was also a pretty good one in the way that they had the format for it and all that kind of thing. Wasn't quite sold on the awards they were cutting to, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
And maybe if we had voted in the awards, we would have cared about them. So that's really on us. That's our fault.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Jess. Well, until the next one, where can people find you on the internet?
Oh, find me on Twitter at Jess Conditt, CONDITT, and on Instagram, Jess L. Conditt.
Nice. And for more video game coverage, of course, go to Engadget.com. You'll see stuff written by me, written by Jess, and by the rest of the team. As we mentioned, you've got a great piece up on Call of Duty, and our colleague Matt Smith has written something on Outriders recently that was also shown during the presentation. So head on over to the site, and if you have more questions for us, find us on Twitter and drop us a line. But until then, take care, everybody, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.